All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going over the top 10 worst states to be a coon hunter in, and these are all awful. They are all awful. Hazel agrees. It made her tired just thinking about it. And yeah, you guys are probably going to be surprised by number one, maybe number two. The other seven, I don't think will surprise you. So enjoy. Remember to thank the sponsors: Joy Dog Food, Elite Nutrition, Conky's Outdoors, Muddy River Transport. All those guys are what help make these videos possible. Remember to like, subscribe, and join. It all helps the channel and lets us put out more content, live hunts, EHS hunts, things like that. So do not forget to patronize sponsors and give them a big thank you for helping the channel. Now, when we go through these 10 states, we have criteria. The number one is, are there places to coon hunt? That is the biggest deal. You know, these dogs require a lot of ground, and these states, some of them have quite a bit, and one of them in particular has a ton of public ground and a ton of access, so that helps. But then you look at things like weather, critters, you know, whether your dog's going to get eaten by an alligator or you're going to get snake bit. All kinds of certain factors go into this. Distance to go to a major event or to any coon hunt period. All of these states fail in many, if not all, of these categories. So here they are, top 10 worst states to be a houndsman in. Well, not necessarily a houndsman in general, probably in general, but a coon hunter especially. And let me tell you, they all suck. I'm sorry if you love your state and you live in one of these. I don't want to offend, but when it comes to coon hunting, your state really sucks. So I don't know. Here we go. Top 10 worst states to coon hunt. We are going to start off with number 10, the frozen tundra of North Dakota. Yes, there are houndsmen in North Dakota. Most of them do not have coonhounds, but some of them do, and it is treacherous. Yes, there's a lot of public ground. Yes, there's a lot of land to hunt, but in the western half of the state, there is not a lot of raccoons. Well, there's not a lot of anything. It's basically just rolling hills, a little bit of oil rigs, and freezing temperatures. Not conducive for fantastic raccoon hunting. Yes, there are parts of the state, the southeast part of the state, the eastern part of the state, where in right times of the year the hunting is fabulous. There are a lot of raccoons. There is great opportunities there, but for the most part, it is a winter wasteland, 6 months a year, and no way to get to a coon hunt without driving, I don't know, 30 hours, it seems like. So, number 10, North Dakota, for obvious reasons. All right, number 9, we're moving just a little bit south to, yes, South Dakota. It is North Dakota, but not quite as cold, kind of as sparse, a little bit closer to the hunts, but it is still freezing cold. You're forever from anywhere, and you get on the west side of the state. Not a lot of trees, not a lot of houndsmen. Well, there's a lot of houndsmen, not a lot of coon hunters. So yeah, South Dakota, some great guys up there, some great coon hunters, some well-known coon hunters live up there. But unless you're in the southeast part of the state, southern part of the state, and the eastern half anywhere, you're not going to be into any good raccoon hunting for the most part. I'm sure there are pockets of places around the state somewhere that are really good, but yeah, South Dakota, definitely still cold, still sparse, still not great. It is in at number 9. And at number 8, we have Georgia. Yes, we're going south. Georgia is known for lots of folks, very small raccoon population. You've got poisonous snakes, you've got bugs, you've got mountains, you got swamps. You have a little bit of everything. Yes, are there pockets of good hunting? Sure. But Georgia, for the most part, not great. It's very hot. You're going to have maybe 2 or 3 months of good hunting in the winter. The weather's going to be right then. A lot of people. There is quite a bit of public ground, and so that puts it pretty low on the list. But man, it is so crowded. Georgia is crowded. Georgia has a lot of folks, a lot of nice folks, a lot of good friends live down there, but the hunting is not great, and they will tell you that too. So, Georgia, great state with great people, but not great for coon hunting. It is in at number 8. All right, moving on now. Number 7, we have the state of Virginia. Virginia, crowded. Lots of folks, over 220 people per square mile. You compare that to the number 1 state of the greatest places to hunt, Missouri. It has a population of 88 people per square mile, 3 times the population of Missouri. Smaller state, very crowded. There are some public lands, there are some national forests there to hunt, so it gets a little bit of a bump there down the list. And when you look at Virginia, there is a good mix of mountains, plains, bottoms, things like that, but the laws are ridiculous. There are people everywhere, and land and hunting land is hard to access. They do have places you could, or they do have legal hunting for deer with dogs, which is cool. They do have bear and bear season for dogs, which is also cool. But as far as coon hunting, a lot of folks, not a lot of ground, very crowded. You get that eastern seaboard stuff over there. It is rough. So Virginia comes in at number 7. Moving on now to number 6, the state of South Carolina, and you have 3 choices in South Carolina to raccoon hunt. It's either too thick, it's a salt marsh, or it's a mountain, or there's too many people there. So yeah, South Carolina, tough state to hunt. Some of the best houndsmen in the world come from South Carolina. They have a very good deer hunting culture, very cool place. Awesome beaches, but man, the coon hunting is tough unless you get private access on one of the large plantations or something like that, but that is hard to come by. There are some rural areas, but not a lot. There is some public land, but not a lot. You're still quite a ways from all the hunts except for the ones held in North Carolina, South Carolina, which are great. The Grand American is out there. But man, it is tough hunting. That is why they have such good dogs on a lot of occasions. Not a lot of raccoons, not a lot of access, a ton of people, over twice the number of people per square mile than the state of Missouri, and it is rough. South Carolina, great hounds, great houndsmen, terrible hunting at number 6. In at number 5, it is the state of North Carolina. And when you think North Carolina, you think basketball and urban sprawl. There is so many people in North Carolina and more moving away from the country, or I'm sorry, away from the city and into the country. Every day, it is so hard to find access. All the ground is in little pieces. It's hard to turn a dog loose. And where you do have to turn a dog loose, it is usually either straight up and down or so thick that you can't even get around it. North Carolina is one of the most miserable states I have ever hunted. It has a huge population, but they also have great houndsmen. These guys are dedicated and they hunt some of the toughest stuff in the country. But man, it is tough. It is a long ways from a lot of major events. There's not a lot of public ground. What public ground is there is either too crowded with people or not worth turning a dog loose in. So yeah, North Carolina, man, y'all got it rough, and you are in at number 5. In at number 4, we have the state that most people thought would be number 1, especially according to me, and that is West Virginia. Now, West Virginia is terrible hunting. Everywhere I've seen is either straight up, straight down. The raccoon population is not great, but the only reason it is not number 1 is there is a lot of access. There's a lot of old mining companies, a lot of old timber companies, a lot of public ground. You have a lot of places to hunt in West Virginia. Unfortunately for West Virginians, all those places are terrible raccoon hunting. West Virginia does have a great hound culture and a lot of great houndsmen in it. And man, if you get a dog that trees a lot of raccoons in West Virginia, it is going to be good everywhere. But at only 77 people per square mile, less than the number 1 state for the best places to coon hunt in Missouri, it has bumped itself all the way down to number 4, even though it is completely miserable. So yes, those West Virginia guys, I feel for you. I know you have rough hunting, but keep at it. You're doing great, and I do not want to come visit. In at number 3, we have the wild and wacky state of Florida. Why do I call it wild and wacky? Well, your dog could get attacked by a monkey, could get hit in the head by a falling iguana, or maybe even eaten by a Burmese python. Yes, Florida is full of all kinds of crazy stuff, and not a ton of raccoons in most of the state. Now, the northern part of the state, there is some decent hunting in places, some large ranches, things like that, but there are so many people. There are 422 people per square mile in Florida, making it one of the most dense places to coon hunt. I know a lot of those are in Miami, they're in large cities, but still. A lot of folks, a lot of crazy animals, and then those are the invasive ones, the ones that can get your dog or you are native. The alligators, the cottonmouths, all the snakes, all the critters. Tough hunting, lots of swamps, lots of water, lots of misery, and lots of heat. It is just horrible for 11 months a year down there. Great place to visit. Go see the beach. Go to Miami. Get you some good food, whatever. But do not coon hunt in the number three state of Florida. Sorry, Conkeys Outdoors. You guys are awesome, but your state, not so much. Moving on now to number two, it is the state of Maryland. Yes, Maryland does have raccoon hunters. It does have raccoon hunting, but good luck. It is so crowded in Maryland with over 600 people per square mile. It is one of the most crowded states, well, second most crowded state that you can raccoon hunt in, to my knowledge. You get up there along the East Coast and you are dealing with all kinds of people. Yes, there is a little bit of public ground in Maryland, not a lot. The rules and laws concerning turning dogs loose and permits and things like that seem to be very confusing to me. And there is no way to get to a coon hunt without driving at least 3 days, it seems like. So, Maryland hunters, I feel for you. There are better places in this world that are a lot less expensive to live in with a lot better coon hunting. So, leave the state, go somewhere great. Even Florida, West Virginia, North Carolina, they're still better than Maryland. So, Maryland in at number two. Right before we get to the worst place in the world to be a coon hunter, we are going to go through a few honorable mentions. And we're going to start off in the Northeast. It is New York and Pennsylvania. We're going to lump them up all in one because they are very similar. It is crowded. It is lots of people, lots of rough hunting, but they did not make the top 10 list because there are some pockets of houndsmen that have pretty good hunting with a lot of ground to hunt. Yes, I know anywhere you get east of the Mississippi is crowded, but Pennsylvania and New York, super crowded. But you get into upstate New York, you get into parts of Pennsylvania, it's not that bad. Now we move on to some people thought these should be in the top 10 best places to hunt, and that is Louisiana and Mississippi. Look, they have Louisiana probably is a little better than Mississippi because what I've hunted in Mississippi has only been either very rough, very hot, very thick, very wet, or along the Delta in the winter. Yes, the Delta in the winter is awesome for about 2 or 3 months. It's some of the best coon hunting in the world. Louisiana, Mississippi, both. And then you get all the way up into the White River of Arkansas, all along the Mississippi River corridor. Awesome hunting. But it's only good for 3 months a year. What are you going to do the other 9 months? You're going to die of heat stroke, or you're going to get snake bit, or your dog's going to get eaten by an alligator in a lot of places. They're not the best places to hunt. Sorry for everybody that lives down there. Lots of friends down there. I've hunted down there extensively, but it's not great. I don't care what anybody says. And then, kind of in that same general vicinity, you look at the great state of Texas. I have awesome hunting in Texas, but not many people do. It's so thick. And then you get in a very vast portion of the state, there's zero public ground. There is all kinds of crazy landowner rights where you're not going to go get your dog without getting shot at. It is a huge state with not a lot of good coon hunting. There is a good number of houndsmen in Texas, all kind of in the eastern part of the state or the northeast part of the state, along the Oklahoma border, down to the coast. Great state. Love it. Love my people in Texas, but it is not the best coon hunting as far as statewide. We're not just looking at one area, we're looking at statewide. And for as big as the state of Texas is, there is only one area with very good hunting, and there's not a lot of it there either. So, yeah, sorry, Texas. I love you, but you didn't make the top 10 in either one, best or worst. So, That's all we got for honorable mentions. Let's get back and see the worst state in the union for raccoon hunting. And here it is in at number one, the horrible state of New Jersey. First of all, New Jersey is the most densely crowded state in the United States with over 1,200 people per square mile. So that doesn't help. What also doesn't help is the fact that there's a few raccoons. It's not great. There's all kinds of people, like we mentioned before, but also there are so many laws concerning turning a dog loose. Even on public land, you're only allowed to train your dog like the month of September and then 2 months in the spring. This is public ground that you pay taxes on, but you're not allowed to use. The people there are really finicky about being hunted around. They don't like the bear hunters. They don't like the coon hunters. They don't like houndsmen, period. And it is just not a good place to be. Yes, there are some coon hunters up there. And there are some rural places, or rural-ish, compared to a lot of the other states in the farther west. And there are hunters that hunt in those places. I don't know how, but they have to go forever to get to a coon hunt, and they are probably just happy to leave the miserable state of New Jersey. I would not want to be there. The laws are confusing. There are too many people. There is no place to hunt. It would be living hell. So there it is. Number one, New Jersey. Way worse than all the others. Number one, leaps and bounds. And to all those die-hard houndsmen that are still out there in New Jersey doing the best they can, we wish you luck. But unfortunately, your state is terrible and you should probably move. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the top 10 worst states to be a coon hunter in. If you're in these states and you've got awesome hunting, go ahead and let me know. But still, I don't care because you're probably the only one in the state that's got awesome hunting. No, I'm just kidding. I know some of these places have pockets of good hunting, but they made the list for a reason. It is a statewide thing, not a regional thing. That's like when people from Mississippi say we got the best hunting in the world. You do for about 3 months along the Delta, one part of the state, one certain time of year. I love it down there. I love hunting down there in the Delta. I love hunting the White River at certain times or that area. There's all kinds of places that are great hunting certain times of year. But when you factor in all the factors that we consider statewide, it's a no-brainer. So, sorry, New Jerseyans, for more ways than one. One, because I ran down your state, and for two, because you live in that state. So, anyway, that's it. That's the top 10 worst states to coon up. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys at the next one.